Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be what the narcissist didn't think you would do. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the first thing the narcissist didn't think you would do is stop giving them chances. You see, when you were in the relationship, maybe you still are, and you're looking to create an exit plan. But when you were in the relationship, you were giving them so many chances over and over and over again. And this got really cumbersome. It got really draining and tiring because you were in the relationship with the narcissist and you were headed in one direction. They were headed in the exact opposite direction. And you found yourself having to put out fires that the narcissist would start. And you found yourself being a troubleshooter for all of their issues and concerns. And you found yourself surrounded by drama, chaos, confusion. You were being manipulated. You were the walking apology. You were the unpaid helper. You were the sounding board. You were the person that had to tolerate the poor behavior of the narcissist. And you kept going back for more and more and more because perhaps it was your mom or dad who was the narcissist. Maybe it was a romantic relationship and you fell in love with the narcissist. Maybe it was a friend that you didn't want to give up on. Maybe it was a colleague or a coworker or a neighbor or somebody or a person in an organization and or community that you were a part of. But you didn't want to give up all of the beautiful empathy that you have. So you kept on giving to a fault. Maybe you were a people pleaser, etc. But eventually something changed within you. And I'll tell you what that was, which is another thing the narcissist never thought you would do. You figured out who they were. You got your first light bulb moment. Perhaps you typed something in the search engine. Example, spouse won't talk to me. Or you searched on YouTube for something. And lo and behold, next thing you know, you're finding narcissistic content. And when you first figured out that perhaps you did enter a relationship with someone who turned out to be a narcissist, you couldn't wrap your head around it. You were asking yourself why you didn't know about this, how you weren't taught this in school, etc. Well, you weren't taught it in school. Nobody was. You had to go through it, just like most of us in the community. And you were not supposed to ever get that needle in a haystack. That's what the narcissist was banking on. They were banking on keeping you subservient to them in that relationship. They did not think you would ever stop giving them chances. That's why many times people go back for more than one round with the narcissist. They accept a Hoover. Maybe they go back for 2, 3, 4, 5 times, maybe even more. That's because they didn't either A, they weren't strong enough, B, they didn't get the wisdom yet. Certainly they didn't figure out who they were. They weren't strong enough to break the trauma bond. But all of these things I'm mentioning right here, the narcissist was banking on you continuing to give them chances. And they were banking on you not figuring out who they were. Now, the third one would be that the narcissist wasn't banking on you seeing behind the mask and understanding that these people only deteriorate over time. They do not improve. They get worse. They turn into what is called the aging narcissist. And let me tell you right now, that is not a pretty sight to see. That is when they are wearing clothes of a much younger generation, speaking the words of a much younger generation, and trying to fit in with people that are 10, 20, 30, 40 years younger than them. But that's for a whole different video. Point being here is the narcissist didn't want you to see behind the mask because as they were abusing you financially, physically, perhaps mentally, emotionally, spiritually, every once in a while they would throw in a little bit of the love bomb / euphoric stage to keep you in that relationship longer, to continue to string you along. It's because the narcissist was looking at an end game with you, and they're looking at an end game with every relationship they enter, which includes the new supply. Don't think the new supply is living their best life, because they're not. They're getting peppered with abuse just like you were. It may appear that they are, but that's not the case, because 1 minute in a narcissistic relationship is 1 minute too long. The new supply just hasn't figured that out yet, or they are playing the narcissist and they in fact themselves are a narcissist. But all of these things I'm talking about, the narcissist did not want you to figure out who they were, what they were doing to you, and they never wanted you to deduce terms like gaslighting. You didn't even know what gaslighting was probably a few years ago. You didn't know what triangulation was, my least favorite thing these people do. You didn't know what the silent treatment was. You thought that was just when you were a little kid and you wouldn't talk to somebody, or they wouldn't talk to you because you took your soccer ball home and you wouldn't let them play with it for a couple days. That's not it. The silent treatment and the triangulation and gaslighting and stonewalling and the smear campaign, these are all the tools in the arsenal of the belt that is wrapped around the narcissist's waist. They want to implement as much damage and destruction, create as much confusion and chaos as they can. And you are in that cycle for a period of time, the cycle where the narcissist is trapped. You are no longer trapped in there. You were for a period of time, specifically when you were in the devaluation stage. but then you broke free. Either the relationship ended on your terms, meaning you removed yourself, or you were discarded. Either way, my heart goes out to you, because it's not a pleasant experience to be in a narcissistic relationship, to say the least. But the narcissist was hoping that you would not see behind the mask. They were hoping you would continue to give them chances. They were hoping that you would continue to tolerate their poor behavior. And they were hoping that you would turn a blind eye whenever they gave you a little bit of the love bomb / euphoric stage. That is used as a weapon. It's meant to keep people in the dark, in the fog, and not seeing the light. And the narcissist knows this. The narcissist has no genuineness to them. There's no authenticity. What they do is they just scour the potential dozens and hundreds and thousands of masks they could wear for any one person at any one moment on any given day. And for you, that mask was what it was when you first met them. The narcissist glommed onto you and they assimilated themselves with you. And they figured out what your hopes and your dreams, your aspirations and your goals were. And then they made themselves seem very appealing to you, that they would actually help you accomplish these things. Perhaps, for example, maybe you would get married, raise kids. Maybe you would relocate, create a business, start a family. Who knows what you would do? But the narcissist listened very carefully to the words you used when you first met them. They were doing their homework on you, trying to figure out what made you tick. And when they did that, then they got very, very close to you. And if it was a romantic relationship, it doesn't have to be, but if it was, well, they certainly love bombed you. And you probably had intimacy, and next thing you know, their dirty fangs were sunken into you, and it was too late, because you now believe that you had found the best thing since sliced bread. Truth of the matter is, you found your worst enemy, and the worst nightmare of any relationship was just about to unfold. But again, you didn't know this back then. And the narcissist couldn't believe that not only how easily they manipulated you. Well, when they said that, they would say to themselves, the last one I got, it only took me a couple months to manipulate this person and get them to fall in love with me. Maybe when you entered the relationship, maybe it was a month, maybe it was a couple weeks. But you see, the narcissist is a master mind of a manipulator. They fine-tune their craft, and they go from person to person, relationship to relationship, blowing these relationships up in a wake of destruction. And they leave behind broken hearts and broken relationships and so many other things. But the narcissist, remember, they cannot love, they have no empathy, and they can't introspect. They will not be accountable. So when the relationship ended for you, I'm certain you did not get closure from the narcissist. You probably watched them slither away into the night onto the new supply. Again, not trying to trigger you or upset you. I'm just letting you know the narcissist doesn't want to help you. They want to twist the knife in as deep as they can to keep you stuck and trapped, hoping you wouldn't figure out who they were, hoping you wouldn't break the trauma bond, hoping you wouldn't see behind the mask, hoping you would give them more and more opportunities or more chances to enter your life. But what happened along the way is you figured out that you needed to heal from this relationship, because the narcissistic relationship is the relationship you need to heal from. You figured out that you couldn't go jump right back in a dating pool because your heart wasn't into it and you weren't feeling yourself, and you probably were self-isolating at this point, post-narcissistic relationship. You were in what I call the cocoon of boundaries, where you were slowing your life down, taking stock of the narcissistic relationship, wrapping your head around who played a part in it, and wrapping your head around that, in fact, you did have to practice radical acceptance and realize that the relationship wasn't what you wanted it to be. It was exactly what it was. And did the narcissist know what they're doing? Yes, they did know what they were doing. And they do know what they're doing right now, wherever they are on the planet, because they breathe the same air as we do, and they put the clothes on the exact same way as we do. So anyone who thinks that the narcissist is excused for their poor behavior, think again. It is not a pleasant experience to be in these relationships. But another thing the narcissist did not think you would do is heal. And this is a pivotal part of the video. You see, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is the relationship that you do need to heal from. We are really understanding that more and more, and people are really slowing their lives down and insulating themselves in that cocoon of boundaries, and they are going no contact, blocking others, i.e. the narcissist and flying monkeys and people associated with them, and they are really understanding that they are the priority. They come first, second, and third. I'm talking about the person, not the narcissist. And when they slow their lives down and they really understand that that relationship almost took them down for the count, but it didn't, then they realize they have a second chance here, a second chance at a new beginning. Because the first chance at a new beginning was when you entered the relationship with the narcissist. You thought it was going to be all puppies and rainbows, unicorns and butterflies, but it wasn't. It was anything but. You were taken on that roller coaster of emotions, taken super high and dropped super low. And in between, you had a couple little love bomb / euphoric stages. But each and every day, you're experiencing more and more toxicity. Pardon me. Now, having said all that, when the relationship ended and you had to heal, you figured that out. What you did is you slowly began to learn what the definitions are in the glossary of the narcissistic abusive cycle. You put two and two together, realizing that radical acceptance is imperative, but on top of that, understanding a basic term like what is gaslighting. You were probably gaslit throughout that whole relationship, but you couldn't put a name on the behavior that you were experiencing, and now you can. Now, is that a good thing? Yes, it's a great thing once you see behind the mask and you get out of the fog and you really do heal. It's an incredible thing because you're headed towards the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, where you no longer care about the narcissist or people associated with them from that period of time because you have gone no contact and you've probably relocated and you've shred all the old relationships and created new ones, maybe even falling in love again. And now this is the period of time when you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. You can do whatever you want to do, but again, it takes time. It takes a lot of time, but in your time you will heal. Now, why does healing not happen as fast as people would like it to take place? I will tell you why. It's very simple. And please play this video a few times. If you broke your arm, what would you do? You would go to the doctor and the doctor would mend the arm and they would put it in a cast or set it somehow. And they would say, listen, it's going to take you 6 to 8 weeks to heal. Just keep the cast on. Don't stress yourself and don't use your arm. And come back and see me then and we'll take the cast off and you'll be good. They would say something like that. But the thing is, you see, so many other people have broken their arms on the planet. So we know how to heal from that. The narcissistic relationship, most people don't even know what it is. Many people can't wrap their head around it. And healing is something you need to do. Again, you weren't taught this in school, but now you're getting the wisdom and you're applying the tools that are provided for you in the community and on the channel, which is you really need to take stock of your life. And you need to not be a people pleaser. You need to have boundaries. You need to say no, the strongest word in the English language, and you need to put yourself as the priority because you do come first, second, and third. Now, all of these things, to answer the question, why does the healing, why doesn't it happen quickly? It's because you have to learn a whole new different skill set. You have to go and take a class that you weren't taught in university about what kind of relationship you just exited. And this is a foreign language to virtually everybody who ever comes across it in the beginning, because the first part of this is wrapping their head around that the person who proclaimed that they loved you actually was your arch enemy or your nemesis, and they were trying to really make sure you did not exist. That's a tough pill to swallow in and of itself. Another tough pill to swallow is how you could be manipulated so easily. Another tough pill to swallow would be that not everybody has your best interest at heart. Another one would be that not everybody actually is who they appear to be. Understand that part. Not everybody on the planet is who they appear to be, no matter who you're thinking of, not just the narcissist. I'm talking anybody, because anybody can portray themselves to be one person and actually be somebody different. We learned that post-narcissistic relationship, but it's not exclusive to the narcissist. So now, this is when we really understand that we cannot overshare any longer. We need to reel in our support system, meaning surround ourselves with loved and trusted ones that have our best interest at heart and that have our back. And you may not have any of those people. If you do have a couple of them, you're very fortunate. If you have more than a handful, you're extremely fortunate. You need to lean on these people, but understand this is post-narcissistic relationship. But understand if they don't know what narcissism is, they will get burned out. And believe me when I tell you they will. So watch how much you lean on them. However, do lean on them. And what I mean by that is when you see them, don't always talk about narcissism. Talk about their lives and let them open up and talk to you. And just having healthy communication with somebody should really help you heal. But that is not the answer, not even close. And the healing hurts, and it's so much longer than expected because you don't know what you were up against. Again, you're unpacking a foreign language. You're putting two and two together, which is your experience with the narcissist and now the glossary and the terms in the narcissistic abusive cycle. This takes a lot of time. That's not even counting all of the emotional baggage that you'll have and healing childhood wounds and trying to figure out how it was that you did enter that relationship, why you didn't trust your instincts, why you didn't trust your intuition, and why you didn't pay attention to red flags when you saw them littered all throughout that relationship. It's because you were manipulated, you were taken advantage of. The narcissist was wearing a mask most likely, and they told you that they loved you probably many, many times, and they showed you that they could love many, many times. But we now know it's all fake. This is nothing but nonsense from the narcissist. The narcissist cares about one person on the planet, and it is themselves. We understand that now. But when you were in that euphoric / love bomb stage, you bought it all. And that's what we do. We believe in the mask. We believe in the person. We believe that their actions will match their words. And none of these things actually come to fruition. The narcissist is just looking at us as opportunities. That's why when the relationship ends, it usually ends with a thud, a crash, a bang. That's why we need to heal. That's why we do need to go no contact, etc. But some more things that the narcissist can't believe that you would do. I mentioned already that you wouldn't stop giving them chances, that you wouldn't see behind the mask, that you wouldn't process what narcissism is. Here's another one, that you would actually rebuild your life, and that perhaps you would rebuild relationships that you did have in the past that may or may not have included those relations with the narcissist. Now, what I mentioned frequently on the channel is, if anybody is still in communication with the narcissist and you are in communication with that person needs to go. And I stand by that. What I'm suggesting, now that time has passed, perhaps there could be people from your past that were good people, and perhaps they too knew that the narcissist was a narcissist, but they couldn't tell you because you were in love back then and you wouldn't have believed them. But maybe you could touch base with them if you wanted to, as long as they are not in communication with the narcissist, and most likely they're not. Why do I say that last part? It's because the narcissist didn't just blow up your relationship, they blow up almost every relationship they encounter. And it does include with the enablers, it does include with the flying monkeys, it does include with their own children and parents and their siblings, etc. Because the narcissist is a petulant child. They need to be pampered. They need to have someone regulate them. They need someone to be there to hold their hand. They need to have someone to abuse. They need to have somebody accessible on social media 24/7 when they're on one of the 3 smartphones, because that's what they do. The narcissist cannot just be. They do not have the ability to introspect and to be accountable and to say, yes, I blew up your life, and yes, I knew it, and yes, I tried my best to take you down for the count, but I didn't, and I can't believe you're here. They won't say that. They can't say that, because the narcissist needs to always believe they are winning and they are getting the best of any deal that they cross, which are relationships, because the narcissist doesn't look at relationships as you look at them. The narcissist looks at relationships as transactions that they must get the best part of. There are so many nuances and so many layers of the onion to be peeled back. But before I close the video, I want to share with you that the narcissist never thought you would do so many things. They did not think you would heal. They did not think you would see behind the mask. They did not think you would figure out that they were a narcissist. They did not think you would leave them in the past, go no contact, and begin to live your best life. They did not believe you would fall in love again. They did not believe you would have the ability to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, dust yourself off, and rise through the ashes like a phoenix and become, in the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind, because that's a place where they could never get to. It's a place either where you currently are or you're headed towards, and that is the third version of you, because you can't unsee what you've seen and you cannot go backwards. After your narcissistic relationship that you were part of, which almost took you down for the count, it's changed you forever. You now know that many people on the planet don't have your best interest at heart. You now know that many people aren't who they appear to be, and you now know that you need to have boundaries. So this is the path. It's to focus on yourself, to slow your life down, and to understand the narcissist will be blown away with your progress, because you've healed, or you are well on the healing path, and you are now a stronger version of yourself, stronger than even the narcissist knew was possible, because you are the one that got away. And I say that complicitly, and I want you to understand, if you made it this far in the video, you sincerely are the one that got away. You're the strongest person the narcissist has ever encountered, and they know it, and I know it, and now you know it. That's the video, everyone. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it. From the beautiful Carolinas, this is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. God bless you all. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep this in mind. The narcissist thought, once they placed you in the trauma bond, once they got you to tell them that you love them, etc., they really thought you would never break those chains. They honestly didn't, but you did, because you're here, and you are now in the third version of yourself. You are now rising higher than the sun and the stars, because you've gone through something and beaten it, something you did not even know that you were up against, and that was the narcissistic relationship. And you will no longer tolerate poor behavior. You will remove yourself from toxicity. You maintain your boundaries, and you will be rising higher and higher and higher. The doors of abundance will open up for you if they haven't already, and the doors and the windows of opportunity will present themselves once you shed the toxicity of the narcissistic relationship, and once you heal, and you heal properly. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, I hope you guys liked it. I loved it, and I know you guys liked the background, so I wanted to shoot this video here today again for you. I love you guys. Bye.